Text appears against a purple background, embracing change. The NORA Project. Building inclusive classrooms. Event chairs. Randy Lustig, Executive Chair. Lisa and Larry Sablowski, Co-Chairs. Allison and Jared Small, Junior Chairs. A woman with blonde hair and hoop earrings sits in her home in front of a colorful painting. Text. Randy Lustig, Executive Chair.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing Change, a celebration of the NORA Project's 5th birthday and the impact it's had and will continue to have for years to come. We're your event chairs, and we're proud to welcome you to this exciting program. I'm Randy Lustig.
A woman with shoulder-length blonde hair and a man with gray hair and glasses sit in the living room of their home. Text. Lisa and Larry Sablowski, Co-Chairs.
We're Lisa and Larry Sablowski.
A woman with long dark hair and a man with dark hair and a polo shirt sit in their living room. Text. Allison and Jared Small, Junior Chairs.
And we're Allison and Jared Small.
We're so glad you joined us to celebrate an organization near and dear to all of our hearts. An organization that's transforming the way kids and adults understand disability by talking about it, celebrating it, and bringing kids of all abilities together to experience the power and opportunity of inclusion.
Before we begin our program, we have to thank our host committee for their hard work, making this event a truly one-of-a-kind special experience for all of the NORA Project supporters out there.
We'd also like to thank the generous donors who contributed to our beautiful VIP packages and to our incredible silent auction.
Text. Thank you to our event sponsors. Martin and Mary L. Boyer Foundation, Linda and Richard Price Family Fund, Jacobson, Jamie and Marty Schrero, Janet and Craig Duchossois. Clayco, CIBC, Dennis and Joyce Black, Mark Sachs, Marcia and Stephen Levin, Richard and Lisa Wersick, Whitney and Robert Nye, Otto Haas, Michael Richmond, the Robert Thomas Bobbins Foundation.
And of course, a huge thank you to the sponsors whose generous support makes this broadcast possible. We are so grateful to each and every one of you.
The theme of our program today is Embracing Change, and few have done it better than our host, Kevin Kling, whose life and storytelling career is a model of making connections, adapting to new circumstances, and finding meaning in the small moments and the big ones. Kevin joins us today from his home in Minneapolis, and he'll begin our program with a poem.
Text. Storyteller Kevin Kling. Kevin, a man with gray hair and glasses, sits in his home office.
Sometimes in our pink innocence, we find ourselves composting. We're waiting to grow, or we rush headlong like so many of our ancestors did. But it doesn't matter whether you're rushing or composting. One day you will round a corner. You'll blink and something's missing. A heart, a limb, a promise, a person, and innocence is gone. And now, like channeled through a spectrum, your path is refracted. And some people don't recognize you. Some people want the old you, and some people cry that you've left it all. But what has happened and cannot be undone. I mean, we pay for our laughter. We pay to weep. Knowledge is not cheap. To survive, we must return to our senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and let our spirit guide us. Our spirit is found in breath. With every breath we inhale, we exhale, we inspire, we expire. Every breath holds a possibility of a laugh, a cry, a story, a song. Every scar is a monument to a battle survived. Now, when you're born into loss, you grow from it. But when you acquire loss later in life, you grow toward it. A slow move to an embrace that holds tight the beauty wrapped in the grotesque, an embrace that becomes a dance, a new dance, a dance of pink.
A woman with long blonde hair joins the video call. Text. Lauren Schrero, co-founder and executive director, the NORA Project.
Hi, I'm Lauren, the co-founder and executive director of the NORA Project. and a super fan of storyteller, poet, and playwright, my co-host this afternoon, Kevin Kling. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about that beautiful poem of yours, Tickled Pink, and what it teaches about embracing change.
Thanks, Lauren. First of all, I used to be a fan of the NORA project, but now I'm the whole air conditioner.
I'll take it.
Everything I learn, I love even more. And about that poem is about change, because we all go through change. Everybody here, the world is constantly changing, and so you're constantly having to grow into your new self. And family and faith and community, that's what really holds us together. I mean, we talk about it, we sing about it, and to me, we think of our lives as stories, and we decide how we want them to unfold. There's this great saying from Zimbabwe: until the lion tells the story, the hunter will always be the hero.
I love it. I love it. So we need the lion to tell the story. That actually segues perfectly into the first video that we wanted to share. It's a story from one of our classrooms. It's actually a story from the Storyteller Project, which is our project for 4th and 5th graders. And this is Ian's story. Ian participated in the Storyteller Project, which allows students to explore their own stories, the stories of their peers, the story of the disability rights movement, and then to share a story of their own, a collective story of the friendships they built. Ian had a great experience in Storyteller Project, and the project helped him embrace himself in many of the ways you described in the poem. Let's hear from Ian.
Text: The Storyteller Project. Learning to love our stories. A woman with short dark hair sits in a living room next to her son, a boy with short dark hair. Text: Nellie Garcia Connor, Ian's mother.
Through Ian's participation in the NORA project, he has been able to understand that it's okay to be different. Before the NORA project, I think it was really hard for him to understand that he had a disability. It made me really sad to think that he looked down on himself, no matter how much we tried to tell him, that it was okay and, that everybody was different.
A woman with long dark hair and a green shirt sits in a home office. Text: Emily Papa, Director of Flagship Program, the NORA Project.
The Storyteller curriculum is a year-long curriculum that centers around 3 essential questions. Why is there no such thing as normal? What does it mean to be a good friend? And why do we share our stories with others?
Ian sits next to his mother. Text: Ian Connor, student, Indian Knoll Elementary.
I like the NORA project. Makes it easy for kids to understand. It is not hard to be kind.
Ian walks around the house sometimes, when we're kind of down, and he's so empathetic. He'll be like, oh, Mom, it's okay to make mistakes. Mom, nobody's perfect. Nobody's normal. It's not just a disability.
A woman with dark blonde hair sits in front of a brick wall. Text: Carrie Duffy, teacher, Indian Knoll Elementary.
In my 20+ years of teaching, using the NORA project curriculum has been the best part of what I have done.
I like that it teaches kids to be kind and supportive of people with disabilities and differences.
I think that students, kids are better at this than adults, and if we start kids young and teach about the importance of inclusion for all marginalized groups, I think they take that with them into adulthood.
And Ian turns around and he looks at me and he goes, Mom, can I tell you something? And I said, yeah, what's going on? And he goes, I love myself. And then I was just like, and I looked at him and I said, well, what do you mean you love yourself? He goes, yeah, I think I learned to love myself. I love my disability. I love who I am, and I'm okay that I have a disability.
And I want students to also learn to look at others for more than one part of their identity and not make assumptions about an individual when we see them. That's really what I want every student and teacher to walk away from with the Storyteller Project.
Text: Embracing Change, the NORA Project, Building Inclusive Classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
I absolutely love that story. I mean, like Ian, like everyone, we want to know how we fit in our world, how we belong. And every kid not only deserves to be embraced, but it's really important that we embrace ourselves, that we love ourselves and accept ourselves. And we love our bodies. This is the best body we're ever going to have. You gotta love it. And so we can't reach these kids, though, especially these kids that need us most, without your support.
I agree, Kevin. I am so proud of the Storyteller Project and what it does to help kids see their value. All kids, kids with disabilities and kids who don't have disabilities. We all have so much to bring to the table, and that's really what the Storyteller Project is all about: knowing our stories, loving our stories, and sharing those stories with the world. Now, there are so many ways to support the NORA Project in transformations like Ian today. Of course, you can browse our amazing silent auction, which has trips near and far, jewelry, sports tickets, you name it, there is something for everyone on that site.
A link appears, bit.ly/TNP Embracing Change.
You can head over to the event site, bit.ly/TNP Embracing Change. And you can adopt a classroom or a teacher or a district. You can make a donation in honor of someone you love, or make a donation in honor of our students like Ian.
There is really no wrong way to give. But before you get started, a quick message from our co-chairs, Lisa and Larry Soblowski.
Text: Embracing Change, the NORA Project, building inclusive classrooms. Lisa and Larry sit in their living room.
Larry and I both have been involved in education and disability rights for a long time. I started my career as a special education teacher with the Indianapolis Public Schools. I went on to serve on PTA boards, education foundations, charter school boards, and ultimately became the board chair of Teach for America Indianapolis. I know good quality education when I see it.
And I grew up wanting to help and protect my little brother, whose disability and differences always kept him feeling on the outside looking in. He wanted so badly to belong and have friends, and I wanted that for him as well. To me, he was just my little brother, but we both knew the world saw things differently.
When Larry and I learned about the NORA Project a few years ago, we felt compelled to get involved.
Today, I sit on the organization's board of directors with an inside view of what goes on among our staff and in our schools. I have to say I couldn't be prouder to be part of something making such a huge impact on education and disability rights, two things that mean a great deal to both of us. The NORA Project has accomplished a lot in the last 5 years, and the best is still to come.
That's why Larry and I are committing to match up to $25,000 in donations made online today, whether through program support, donations, or auction purchases. We believe so strongly in the NORA Project that today we will match you dollar for dollar to make your gifts go twice as far.
Now get online and join us to embrace change and transform lives.
Text: Embracing Change, the NORA Project, building inclusive classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Wow, how lucky are we? Thank you so much, Lisa and Larry, for your generosity.
Yeah, so you better get to it, everybody. and while you're at it, check out this next story from Penn High School in Mishawaka, Indiana. The educators and students at Penn took on the NORA Project's STEMpathy Club, a curriculum that challenges students of all abilities to work together to identify barriers to inclusion in their school, and then calls on them to design and implement solutions that remove those barriers. This is the story of how the STEMpathy Club at Penn transformed high school biology to make it accessible for everybody.
Text: The STEMpathy Club, rethinking high school biology. A woman with dark hair, glasses, and a red shirt sits in a room with white walls. Text: Katie Fadilay, Senior Program Director, the NORA Project.
The STEMpathy Club really gives kids that authentic experience in what does it take to be an advocate? What does it take to make a big change? And then it gives them the satisfaction of the success at the end when they do carry out a project that they've been really working hard at.
A photo shows students building a wood structure in a class.
The students at Penn identified an opportunity to create a more inclusive environment within the science classroom, the biology classroom in particular, by creating this biology sensory wall. And knowing that not everyone engages with science in the same way, they went about creating this multi-sensory experience that allows more students.
A video shows the completed wood structure, which includes whiteboards and Velcro pads with information.
To engage with that biology content.
A teen girl with blonde hair and glasses sits in a classroom wearing a cloth face mask. Text. Taylor Przybylj, student, Penn High School.
I'm Taylor Przybylj. I am a year 2 graphic design, and I designed the biology sensory wall banner.
A woman with blonde hair and glasses sits in front of a white wall. She wears a headset. Text. Amy Zimmer, exceptional education teacher, Penn High School.
This biology sensory wall was created with all in mind, students of all abilities, all students, will have equal access.
A teen girl with long dark blonde hair and glasses sits in her home. Text. Julia Klimek, student, Penn High School.
It was awesome to work with it. Family happened it to me. It felt amazing.
If we weren't doing the sympathy program, if we weren't motivated to then take the next step to make this biology sensory wall, I never would have met Taylor and Riley and all these other wonderful students, because our paths would not cross naturally.
It was actually a pretty nice experience to do something outside of class, and it was nice working with Miss Zimmer, and it was a lot of fun.
Students have been able to engage, I think, with one another and with their teachers in a completely different way, because they're opening up conversations about identity and particularly about ability diversity.
Definitely changed me and the school as well.
A man with short hair and a checkered shirt sits in a classroom. Text. John Jenzik, biology teacher, Penn High School.
Through the NORA project and the learning that I've been able to get through the program, I've had students learn about the ADA, learn about the disabilities and natural form of human variation, to the extent that I'm getting comments from students about this, why have we never learned about this? They really want to learn about it. We are gonna use everything at our disposal to make this be a successful, inclusive classroom.
The Sympathy Club gives them room to be able to think critically about their school environment, to wonder about how they could make improvements, and then to actually do those things.
I think it's really nice that, people are using their time and talents and resources really for the greater good here at Penn High School.
Text. Embracing change. The NORA project. Building inclusive classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Oh, Lauren, I love that story. It reminds me of growing up. I had kids around me that we were all thrown together into these projects, and it created lifelong relationships. It's like how teamwork builds relationships. Everybody offers another perspective. Because if you solve problems by checking off boxes, you're limited to the boxes. Working with diversity takes you outside your box.
Yes. That is so true. And it's one of my favorite things about the Sympathy Club is that the kids are the ones doing the thinking. There are no boxes to check. It is 100% up to their imagination to figure out how to solve the problems in their school. And the problem that they solved at Penn is so remarkable, because I don't even know that it was identified as a problem until the students took a look at it themselves and said, why aren't we learning together? Why aren't we learning together? And I think one of my favorite parts of this video is how Amy Zimmer, one of the teachers, said, I'm getting to meet all kinds of different students who I wouldn't cross paths with normally. And that's the case, because in most schools, special education and general education remain segregated. And the fact that the students at Penn saw that as a barrier to inclusion and dismantled it with this biology sensory wall is just extremely exciting to me. Now, in addition to reflecting on what's happening inside NORA Project schools, we also dedicate today to our partners outside the organization who are leveraging their skills and networks to advance our mission of promoting disability inclusion. Today, we celebrate and honor Kathleen SARPY, founder and CEO of Chicago's prestigious PR powerhouse, Agency H5, for dedicating herself to putting the NORA Project on the map.
Text. Congratulations, supporter of the year Kathleen SARPY. A woman with dark hair with a white streak sits in a home dining room. Text. Ellie Foreman, Vice President, Community Engagement, Mesero Financial.
When I think of Kathleen SARPY, what comes to mind is the word friendship. Everywhere she goes, she's surrounded by a group of friends, and everywhere she goes, contacts become some of her closest friends.
A woman with dark blonde hair sits in front of a beige wall. Text. Anitra Rowe Schulte, children's book author.
Kindness is central to everything that Kathleen does, all the people that she chooses to surround herself by, the people who are part of her team and part of her, core circle.
Her energy and her devotion and commitment to the people in her life is amazing and really inspirational.
A woman with long dark hair and a purple dress sits in front of a piano in her home. Text. Kathleen SARPY, founder and CEO, Agency H5.
Hi everybody, I'm Kathleen SARPY, founder and CEO of Agency H5, and I'm so honored to be the 2021 individual honoree from the NORA Project. Agency H5 was founded on a value of kindness because my father, Tom Cunningham, was an incredibly kind soul and man in his profession and as a dad. So when I started my own company, I wanted to find a way to really honor what I was taught my whole life, which was kindness, and really lead with kindness in our business practices, which I think is often not done as much in corporations. So yes, kindness matters a lot to me.
She looks at her communities and asks, how can I help? How can I be there? What introductions can I make to make an impact?
This is a world where we need kindness, and that is a very easy and free thing to do. And it doesn't have to be transactional.
One of the most powerful things about kindness and about the way that Kathleen presents herself is that it's evident immediately that it's sincere.
You learn a lot when you're a little kid. You observe a lot. You're a sponge when you're a child. And so it's so important, the work that the NORA Project does, because it embeds this value system of kindness, inclusivity, and love into their little hearts to bring that into the future. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. Everybody has challenges. And some are bigger than others and more visible than others. But we all need to love and show respect and kindness to one another, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's the right thing to do. So that's what my dad taught me anyway.
Kathleen, Kiki, Sissy, all the different things you go by, thank you so much for everything you've done to advance the work of the NORA Project.
I think it's wonderful that the NORA Project is able to have you in their corner, because having you in a person's corner is everything, because you give so much to those that you love.
Candid Candace Jordan sits in her home.
I just want to congratulate you on this wonderful honor. The NORA Project is such a worthwhile nonprofit, and I know you support so many, but I know your heart's with this one.
Brad Edwards, a man with a short beard, sits in an office.
You are a great ambassador. No one deserves this honor more. And let it serve as a reminder to keep on doing it.
Sally Lou Loveman, a woman with dark hair, stands outside a cottage.
You are kind, and that is a pillar of the NORA Project, and that is why it's no surprise you are being honored tonight for all the kindness that you spread.
Whitney Reynolds, a woman with dark hair and a blue top, records herself in her home.
You encompass the mission of the NORA Project, which is sharing empathy and kindness. Keep rocking it.
Chris SARPY, Kathleen's husband, sits in his home.
Myself and all the children, mom and dad, we could not be more proud of you for winning this award, and we all know that this is one of many more great things to come.
Text. Embracing Change. The NORA Project. Building Inclusive Classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Big congratulations to Kathleen and a thank you, supporter of the year. Yay!
Yay, Kathleen!
You know, in the video, Kathleen talked about her dad and the values he raised her with. So it's probably no coincidence that today would have been his birthday. A wonderful day to celebrate kindness, Kathleen, and this great organization. So I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. And I want to remind you all about the 25,000 Sablowski Match Challenge. We still have a ways to go to reach our goal here today.
A graph shows the Sablowski Match Challenge at $4,318 out of $25,000.
And the auction is still open, and a number of schools and classrooms are waiting to be sponsored.
That's right, Kevin. You know, the NORA project provides programming absolutely free to schools in underserved communities. This year, almost 40% of our schools fall into that category. That's 18 schools with 63 classrooms between them. For $250, you can sponsor a classroom. And for $1,000, you can sponsor an entire school.
But there's also an in-between there, right, Lauren?
There is an in-between, yes. For $500, you can actually support one of the hundreds of teachers bringing the NORA project to their students this fall in all kinds of schools. The teachers who do this complete a month of training, intensive training, each summer to learn best practices for bringing inclusion to their classrooms. And then they take the curriculum we've created and they bring it to life for their students, teaching them about identity, emotions, disability studies, the value of diverse friendships. Each and every one of these teachers deserves your support.
You know, I had a chance to work with a handful of your teachers this year, and I have to tell you, I was really impressed by how deeply committed they are to the values of this project. Their humor, their heart, they told stories, how they became involved. And this group really approaches their work with determination, and they know they're making a change for the better. I'd say they have what we call in Minnesota bragging rights.
I couldn't agree more. I am so proud of our teachers. They are absolutely revolutionaries. They are incredible people.
This year, the NORA project educators came together and nominated one special person to be recognized as the Teacher of the Year. And we're so proud to honor the truly stellar Carrie Duffy of Indian Knoll Elementary in West Chicago.
Text. Congratulations, Teacher of the Year Carrie Duffy. A woman with tied-back hair sits in her home kitchen. Text. Taryn Tenhor, Lead Teacher for Technology, Indian Knoll Elementary.
When I think of Carrie Duffy, I think of a friend, and I think of a person who instills the value of learning and acceptance into every facet of her life.
A photo shows Carrie with her students in a classroom. A woman with short blonde hair sits in a classroom. Text. Marissa Tarsa, Learning Behavior Specialist, Indian Knoll Elementary.
When I hear the name Carrie Duffy, what comes to mind is love, joy, and laughter for all of our students.
A video shows her students playing in a schoolyard. A woman with dark hair and glasses sits in front of a white wall. Text. Jackie Campos, Principal, Indian Knoll Elementary.
She does an amazing job with creating these relationships with her students. I mean, they're so excited to come to school every day, even during the pandemic this past year.
Photos show her students playing together. A woman with long dark hair and a green shirt sits in an office. Text. Emily Papa, Director of Flagship Program, the NORA Project.
She really is passionate about everything we do. And from talking to her about what she does in her classroom, I know that she truly lives the NORA Project mission in everything that she does in her classroom. And it's just part of who she is.
A photo shows one of her students painting in a classroom.
I really believe in what the NORA Project is doing, and my values align with their values. I feel they've just kind of given a voice to what I already believed and provided a curriculum for me to teach about those values.
In my students' life, Carrie Duffy has given them the opportunity to be with same-age peers, to learn social skills, to be a part of something that is more than just our classroom.
Photos and videos show her students in a playground.
Every year she teaches the NORA project curriculum to her students, and the students carry the values of the NORA project on as they get older and enter their teenage years.
She really helped fuel Friendship February, our first Friendship February this year.
A poster with hearts and holding hands reads, Friendship February by the NORA Project.
By getting her students really involved.
Friendship February was a way for us to spread kindness. We tried to get other kids in the school involved, and then my class did many challenges. I know one of their favorites was writing positive notes to teachers, and so we learned how to email that day, and they emailed teachers across the district, and the response from teachers was just overwhelming because, you know, they all needed something positive in that time as well.
Carrie, you are amazing. I want you to take that to heart. Believe it.
I just want to thank her for letting me be a part of class each year and encouraging me to take a bigger role in the NORA project.
Congratulations and thank you for all that you do. You're an amazing, wonderful human being, and we're very blessed that you're part of our lives.
Thank you, Carrie. We adore you, and I'm so excited to continue working with you for many, many more years.
Text. Embracing Change. The NORA Project. Building Inclusive Classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Congratulations, Carrie. This is very, very well deserved. So, Lauren, we've looked at some of the work in schools, but you know, the NORA project has programming for little ones too, right?
Yes, that's true. In addition to Storyteller and STEMpathy, which are for older students, we actually have our primer pack for students 3 to 8 years old. We know how important those early years are to developing lifelong values, and we wanted to put something together to prime kids to think like includers from a young age. We want them to think about and value diversity, especially ability diversity, which is something that isn't often talked about with little ones, and to understand the importance of belonging. So we piloted our primer pack in 2018. We rolled it out in earnest in 2019, and this year it is by far and away our most popular program. We have over 100 classrooms participating.
Now, I know you could tell me about it, but let's let the teachers describe how Primer Pack has transformed their classrooms and students.
Text. The Primer Pack, Teaching Empathy at a Young Age. A woman with blonde hair sits in front of 2 hanging paintings. Text. Jennifer Garza, teacher, Joseph Sears.
The Primer Pack has improved the culture in my classroom in many different ways. I notice there's more respect in general. There's more of a caring and kind culture. My students have a lot of empathy.
A woman with short, curly dark hair and a face mask sits in a classroom. Text. Sydney Allen, teacher, Pulaski International School of Chicago.
The project taught my students how to empathize with people who were different from them. And so what we were doing in regards to teaching about race and gender and gender identity, it kind of went hand in hand with your curriculum.
A woman with blonde hair sits in her home kitchen. Text. Courtney Adams, Director of Lifecycle Programs, the NORA Project.
What TNP does so well is we're so flexible in our curriculum in that we have these wonderful lesson plans, but we understand that each classroom culture and each classroom has a variety of needs.
A woman with long dark hair sits in front of a white wall. Text. Emily Shaw, teacher, Fulton Elementary.
There are so many different things that are included in the lessons where kids who learn in different ways are able to learn in the best way for them.
They had been exposed to people with disabilities, but they didn't have an umbrella term of what that was, or what type of diversity that was. So it was really cool to have that lesson as like a lead into talking about people with disabilities.
The NORA Primer Pack is authentic, and the kids are interested, and it relates to their life, it relates to our school, it relates to the world around them. And they take what I teach them in the primer prac and they use it in their everyday lives.
When I started teaching the NORA project, halfway through the school year, we got a new student, and it was the first time I'd ever seen kids react in this way to a new student. The whole day, different kids, without me asking to, they had checked in on her throughout the day. They showed her different places in the classroom, and it was all because they just wanted to make sure she felt welcome and that she knew that they understood how she felt.
Having the opportunity to teach kids right now stops them from developing their own stereotypes about people, and they want to learn about people, and they're interested, and they have questions, and they have good questions.
It just really taught my students how to accept others, on top of teaching them about how all the different forms of diversity. I couldn't have asked for a better SEL curriculum to go along with what I was doing in my classroom.
Text. Embracing Change. The NORA Project. Building Inclusive Classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
When I was a kid, I was really lucky. My teachers, my family, I was really embraced at my school. And over the years, I found, kids are just curious. They just want to know. So when you tell them, they're okay and they just move on. Giving kids permission to take ownership, to make someone's life better, to make a new friend, to better themselves, they'll grab it. I remember my nephew and I, we were shopping in a grocery store, and we came across this squash that had another squash growing on next to it. And he turned to me and he goes, "Look, Uncle Kevin, a differently abled squash." He made me so happy. And I go, "Well, which one should we buy?" And he goes, "That one, it's the most interesting." Man, I love that kid all over again.
I love that story, Kevin, and I agree. Kids are curious, and if we give them answers that jive with reality and make sense, that difference is just part of the human experience, they're cool with that. In fact, they do get excited about it. They get excited about diversity. We see it all the time. Students, identifying somebody different from them and being curious and wanting to make connections. So I love that story. And I think that it's a great segue to, everything that we're doing at the NORA Project. And so we are trying to reach more and more schools and kids and classrooms. As I said, we have primer in 100 classrooms this year, but we could easily take on 200, 300, but we need the support of our community in order to make that happen.
Now, you told me you've had one corporate sponsor for the NORA Project from the very beginning. Is that right?
Yes. We've had one partner who's been with us since that pilot year in 2016, 2017. And they've actually run a golf outing for us every single year. These are folks from the realty group WEINBERG CHOI Residential. They've hosted this annual golf outing for us. We've had 5. We just completed our 5th outing with them, where they raised over $40,000.
Oh, man. Now, in honor of their efforts, the NORA Project honors WEINBERG CHOI as its Corporate Partner of the Year. And as you watch this tribute, please consider a gift in celebration of today's incredible honorees.
Text. Congratulations, Corporate Partner of the Year, WEINBERG CHOI Residential. A man with a short beard sits in a house with wood panel walls. Text. Adam Levy, board member, the NORA Project.
We met Josh and Tommy through my little brother. I remember I got a phone call as I was pulling up into my garage. I had NORA in the back. And my little brother, Aaron, said, "I just bought a house and my realtors are really great people and they're interested in supporting the NORA Project."
A man with short hair and a pink button-up shirt sits in a room with colorful posters. Text. Tommy Choi, co-founder, WEINBERG CHOI Residential.
I remember thinking wow, that's so amazing and such an important need and a bridge, right, to connect, especially towards inclusion amongst children in the classroom. We decided to do this golf outing and make sure that we can partner up with the NORA Project and raise some money to put to use for a great cause.
A man with short hair and a short beard sits in a living room. Text. Josh Weinberg, co-founder, WEINBERG CHOI Residential.
We were looking for an awesome opportunity always through our 365 Days of Giving to support any organization, and especially one that's near and dear to someone's heart that is important in our world. And so that's how the relationship formed, and that led to the beginning of the golf outing.
it was evident from the beginning that those two had hearts of gold. They have hearts of gold, and they've established a team around them that feel the same.
Every month we find a new local nonprofit organization and figure out one of three ways to support, either helping raise, capital, money, donations, raise awareness and influence, or just volunteer sweat equity for the organization.
A woman with dark blonde hair sits in her living room. Text: Lexi Schacht, broker, Weinberg CHOI Residential.
The 365 days of giving is just part of the backbone of the team.
So the Weinberg CHOI team, over the last 5 years, I think it's safe to say, has brought in over $100,000 for the NORA project.
We're super honored and grateful to even just be able to collaborate with the NORA project, not only for what the NORA project stands for and the impact, but all the people that are involved and have been a part of it since day one, and just how kind and warm and caring everyone is.
I want to take it to thank the entire Weinberg CHOI team, and Tommy and Josh in specific. You guys are incredible people. You make an amazing team, and there's not enough wonderful things I could say about you as human beings, and not enough I could do to thank you for your efforts on behalf of the NORA project.
Photos show Josh and Tommy at a golf course with the participants. Golfers are at the event. Text: John White and Alex Nikla.
Congratulations, Weinberg CHOI, on Corporate Partner of the Year.
Text: John Pagano and Eric Fratton.
Hey Josh, Tommy, super proud of you guys. Congratulations. Thanks for having us. We love you guys.
Text: Todd Mendelson and Kenny Witt.
Congratulations, the whole Weinberg CHOI team, Josh, Tommy, and everybody. A fantastic event. We're having a heck of a time. Love you guys. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us and doing great work with the NORA project. Keep it up, guys.
Text: Embracing Change. The NORA project. Building inclusive classrooms. Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Speaking of super fun experiences like Weinberg CHOI's golf outing, we have a silent auction you can bid on from your phones with tons of experiences and cool stuff to bring you joy. Our junior chairs, Allison and Jared Small, will share a few highlights.
Allison and Jared sit at home. Text: bit.ly/TNP Embracing Change. Auction closes at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Any sports fans out there? We have tickets for the Chicago Blackhawks, White Sox, Bulls, and Sky.
Want to get ahead on holiday shopping for the littles? Check out sweet slumberkins, creative sensory bins, and a custom cameo from the one and only Lori Berkner.
How about booking that fall family photo session you've been meaning to schedule?
Or the ultimate, which we all need right now, a getaway vacation.
We have wine packages.
Spa packages.
Stuff for your house.
Jewelry like his beautiful bracelets.
Believe me, there's something for everyone.
What are you waiting for? Go online and bid now.
Lauren and Kevin are on a video call.
Lauren, your auction looks incredible.
I know! It looks amazing. I want to bid on everything.
A graph shows the Sablowski Match Challenge at $9,186 out of $25,000.
Thank you to our incredible auction chair, Dina Hicks, and to all of the auction donors. We are so grateful for you all. That part of the event is always so much fun. Now, Kevin, I knew of you before I knew you. I became a fan after I read your book, The Dog Says How. And there's a story at the end of the book about a man and a cracked pot. It's a story about change that can't be stopped or rolled back, and how we choose to perceive it. It's my favorite story. Every time I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes, truly. Would you share that with everyone?
I'd love to. So this story happens back in the days when pots and pans could talk, which indeed they still do. And there was a man that would go to the river every day and fill 2 pots with water and bring them home. Well, one day a small crack developed in one of the pots. And as time went on, that crack widened until by the time the man got home, all the water had leaked out of that pot. So one day the pot turns to the man and says, "Please, Every day you take me to the river, and every day that water leaks out. Would you please replace me with another pot? And the man turned to the pot and he said, look down the trail. And the pot looked down the trail, and on the side of the trail with the pot that didn't have a crack, it was craggy and rocky and barren. But on the side of the path with the pot with the crack, wildflowers grew. And the man said, every day it's you who waters those flowers. Every day you make my difficult journey beautiful. I think I'll keep you.
Really, it doesn't get less moving and less profound. It is such a perfect story. And I think it brings to mind for me so many important lessons that we have tried to embed in the NORA project, which is how do we perceive our cracks and what makes something valuable, right? Is it perfection, or is it the things that maybe aren't anticipated that bring unexpected gifts? And that's my favorite sort of telling of that lesson. I don't know how you see it relating, but I love your thoughts.
I do see it relating as being a cracked pot. And when my grandmother would tell me that story, it not only did I feel like I belonged, but I felt like I was a contributor. And it's so important in our lives that we feel like we're contributing to our community, our society. I think that is one of the messages in the stories too. It's just how important it is for all of us to contribute.
I love it. It's the most moving thing. And if you haven't read the book, everybody go get the book. I have several copies if you want me to lend you one. So before we conclude, we do have one final video, a video about how cracks bring joy, about how keeping all kinds of people around us improves the landscape for all.
And this story comes to you all the way from Gwinnett County, Georgia, at a school called Arcado Elementary. And it's inspired by this kid named Jose, this amazing kid in this school that joined the NORA project in its pilot year of 2017. But in the 5 years since, they've grown the program from one fifth grade class to the entire school, taking on the entire NORA project program for students from kindergarten to fifth grade. So let's just say the flowers are in bloom in Gwinnett County. And we'll let the folks from Arcado explain.
Text: Arcado Elementary School, Lilburn, Georgia. Championing inclusion with the NORA project.
A lot of school systems are...
A woman with blonde hair and glasses sits in an office. Text: Penny Young, Principal, Arcado Elementary School.
Trying to figure out, okay, what social emotional learning curriculum are we going to use? What does that look like? What does it sound like? What does it mean? And for us, it means the NORA project.
A photo shows a class of students standing outside a school.
The NORA project helped us to be able to intentionally provide teaching and learning to students as well as teachers in the area of students with disabilities.
A woman with dark hair sits in front of a white wall. Text: April Shevelhood, Teacher, Arcado Elementary School.
The transformation in my students, I would say, is just the whole theme of empathy.
A woman with blonde hair, glasses, and earrings sits in a living room. Text: Dr. Janie Avant, Inclusion Specialist, the NORA project.
For April students, I saw them, one of the students had made a comment that really stuck with me early on in the project. She said, so we're going to get to learn that Jose's more than just the boy that comes to specials classes, like to art and music.
A photo shows Jose, a differently abled boy on a field trip with his classmates.
And I said, exactly. And they began coming to me asking for him to do certain things with them. Like, could he come to recess? Could he come to this special activity in their classroom, even though it wasn't one of the planned activities? And that was fun to see, that he was being fully included.
A woman with gray hair sits at home. Text: Rebecca Edmonds, parent, former Arcado Elementary student.
There was no separation between Jose and the other kids. It was just the kids, and he was just part of them.
In a hallway, students stand in a line and step aside one by one.
Jose taught us that everybody is unique and equally beautiful. We all have our differences. So why don't we embrace it? No one is normal. Because normal is a stereotype. I hope that people will treat others fairly, even if they are different.
A photo shows Jose making pottery with his classmates and bowling with his friends.
From kindergarten on, that inclusion is important for kids because it teaches them that we are all human beings with differences.
The NORA project in its evolution has allowed us the teaching tools to be able to help our students understand that this is not a special needs student. This is a group of students, and we all have strengths and we all have areas to improve.
I want to continue to move children and teachers and communities toward more inclusive mindsets. And the way to do that, I have found, is through the NORA project.
A photo shows Jose smiling with his classmates in a lunchroom.
The NORA project is such a wonderful program, and I'm so excited for how far it has come. And I can't wait to continue to see where it's going. And I just can't wait till this is in every single school across the nation and the world.
Text. Embracing change. The NORA project. Building inclusive classrooms. Randy sits in her home.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to our hosts, Kevin and Lauren. Thank you to the Sabloskis for the generous match challenge, which will remain live until midnight tonight. Please keep donating and keep bidding on the auction, which closes at 4 p.m. Central Time. Tell your friends about the wonderful stories you heard this afternoon, and share this YouTube feed and the events page and ask them for their support. We have a long way to go to reach our goal.
A graph shows the Sabloski Match Challenge at $13,285 out of $25,000.
Every dollar counts. Every dollar donated transforms lives. And today, those dollars go twice as far, making double the impact. One final thank you to our sponsors, without whom none of this would be possible. Here they all are, and we are just so grateful for their generous support. To everyone with us this afternoon, we thank you and will keep you, cracks and all.
Text. Thank you to our event chairs, Randy Lustig, Lisa and Larry Sabloski, Allison and Jared Small. Thank you to our committee members. Auction, Dina Hicks, Chair. Advertising, Ellie Foreman, Chair, Kelly Cottle, Taryn Gluskin, Marcy Masser. Sponsorships, Arlene Levy, Chair, Robin Gould, Elrise Ibounji Magaya, Andy Stone, Candace Weinstein, Michelle Williams, Harrison Garrow. VIP bags, Jamie Schrero, Chair. Kathy Baer, Jill Bernstein, Karin Burstein, Mary Dano, Judy Deutschow, Margie Georgopoulos, Erica Harrington, Julie Hoffman, Randy Holzman, Jill Catlin, Lynn Kornblatt, Karen Risch, Lisa Schrage, Andy Schrero, Judy Shapiro, Marnie Solomon, Deborah Winton, Lisa Wersick. Auction donors, Anonymous, 3D Communications, Academic Tutoring and Test Prep, Adrian Breen, Anitra Rowe Schulte, Arm Candy by Alyssa, Barry's Bootcamp, Beanstalk, Birdie Bean, Blowouts Blow Dry Bar, Brew Brew Coffee and Tea, Bubbles Academy, Butterfields, Carly Milstein Art, Carol's Cookies, Chill Anywhere, Chimney and Babbo, Classic Kids Photography, Krabby Abby Baby and Kids, Dana Rebecca Designs, Delos Therapy, Dipped. Legacy Box, Levy Strategies LLC, Little Grapefruit Baby Shoes, Kamahachi, Lollipop Balance, Lori K. Sapio, Love Pop, Michael Kornblatt Art, Minidip, MK Namaste, Molly's Cupcakes, Monica Thorpe Photography, Moonlight, Mr. Dave Music, Mushy, Napolita and Pescadero Restaurants, Old Town School, Pizza City Tours, Prep and Rally, Pulsation Yoga, Purple Monkey Playroom, Resourceful Organization, Romy Jill Art. School for the Art Institute of Chicago, Serena and Lily, Shop Just Shine, Slumberkins, SMOC Kits, Soft Play Oasis, Split Rail Restaurant, Sprout Kids, Strawberry Pencil Magic, Sugar Wish, the ABL Group, the Belmonte Family, the Brown Family, the Claim Company, the Collective A Lifestyle Boutique and Makery, the Gould Family, the Kornblatt Family, the Mazza Family, the Schmidt Family, the Steinbeck Family, the Wilbur Family, Threadery, Teeks Shoes, TRX. Vicky Barone, Village Links in Glen Ellen, Volo Auto Museum, Walter E. Smith Furniture, Wild Willow, Wildfire, William Blair, Wines for Humanity, Wolfbait Store, Wonderbly, Gila Activewear. Text. Embracing Change. The NORA Project. Building Inclusive Classrooms.